Prince Harry walked into war with the Daily Mail, promising protection, justice, and moral victory. But at the Royal Courts of Justice, that promise suddenly turned into a financial trap, with one chilling question hanging over it. If Baroness Doreen Lawrence is not paying, who is? Because the courtroom did not just confirm that Lawrence would be shielded. It exposed the shape of a much larger bill. Harry had personally recruited her into this case in January 2022. He had publicly pledged on July 7th to protect her from liability after Judge Fancourt dismissed all 97 allegations in a 436-page ruling. And now The Guardian's own headline has confirmed it. Doreen Lawrence will not foot any of legal bill for failed attempt to sue Daily Mail. That sounds like relief. But inside this legal disaster, it is actually the beginning of a darker mystery. The claimant's combined insurance stands at $16.2 million. Annal's costs already stand at $34.5 million. That leaves a documented gap of at least $18.3 million. Lawrence is protected, yes, but the money did not disappear. It simply moved closer to the 6 remaining names: Elton John, David Furnish, Sadie Frost, Elizabeth Hurley, Simon Hughes, and Prince Harry. And this is where the story becomes more dangerous for Harry, because Judge Fancourt did not give anyone the comfort of a final number. On July 30th, he did not stand in court and announce exactly what Harry, Elton, or the other claimants must pay. He reserved judgment. That means the figure and the basis for calculating it will come later in writing. But what he did confirm from the bench was enough to create panic. They are going to be paying a sum of money that I will confirm in the judgment. The interim payment is due by August 28th. Think about the pressure inside that sentence. A deadline is confirmed. The amount is not confirmed. The cost basis is not confirmed. Standard costs or the harsher indemnity basis could change everything. One global figure will be set, one lump sum, then divided among the claimants. But with Baroness Lawrence already protected, the division becomes more explosive. Harry is not just waiting for a bill. He is waiting for a bill whose size, structure, and consequences are still hidden. The hearing opened at 10:30 on July 29th. And from the start, Annal's side treated the failed lawsuit like something more than a normal legal defeat. Anthony White KC, representing the publishers of the Daily Mail, argued that the claimants, Harry and his legal team, had handled the case in such an exceptionally improper manner that the court should force them to pay on an indemnity basis. That is not a small detail. Under indemnity costs, Anne would not need to prove its bill was proportionate. It would only need to show the costs were reasonably incurred. That could shift a far greater share onto the losing claimants. Nicholas Bacon KC, representing Harry and the others, fought back for the standard basis. But Judge Fancourt did not rule between them in court. He left that decision hanging, and that silence may be the most threatening part of all. Then came the numbers that cut through the courtroom like a warning. Annal demanded an interim payment of $9,950,624.37. The claimants countered with just above $7.9 million. Bacon KC called Annal's demand manifestly excessive. But Anthony White KC's language carried a deeper accusation. As reported by Yahoo News UK, he said the claimants had cast a strikingly wide net in the hope of catching some fish. Then came the phrase that reframed the entire case: a banquet of litigation. That was not casual courtroom drama. That was a direct attempt to make the judge see this case as the first wave of something larger, broader, and more aggressive. Not one grievance. Not one clean legal fight. A strategy. A campaign. A legal feast that collapsed before the first course could succeed. White KC then sharpened the blade. He said the allegations were of the broadest scope and utmost seriousness, and he invited the court to ask why the net had been cast so wide. The implication was devastating. Maybe the claims were not broad because the evidence demanded it, but because the strategy required it. And then Harry's own words came back into the courtroom. White KC pointed to Harry's post-verdict whitewash statement, arguing that it sought global publicity and continued alleging wrongdoing against the publisher after every allegation had already been dismissed. That is the trap. A statement meant to show courage may now be treated as conduct. A public relations weapon may become a financial liability. Harry did not just lose the case. His response to losing is now part of the argument over how heavily he should pay. But the most sensitive moment came when Annal's barrister addressed Baroness Lawrence herself. White KC said he was sad she had been recruited as the national treasurer, adding, "That is a matter of regret for my client. But it is not to be shrunk from." That line matters because it does two things at once. It shows Annal trying not to look cruel toward a respected public figure, while also suggesting her presence had strategic value inside the case. Lawrence was protected, but her protection became evidence of another question. Why was she brought in? Who benefited from her involvement? And who now absorbs the cost of shielding her? Now look at the 6 names left under the financial cloud. Simon Hughes, the former Liberal Democrat MP, reacted carefully, saying the result was very disappointing for me, and I am sure for all other claimants. Elizabeth Hurley has made no public statement since the verdict. Sadie Frost has also stayed silent. David Furnish is financially tied to Sir Elton John. Elton John has the deepest documented pockets, but reports say he declined to fund the Invictus shortfall when Harry visited in early July, and his name was missing from Harry's post-verdict statement. The reported response was brutal. "I am not an ATM." Then there is Harry, the most financially scrutinized of them all. Shadowed by Bauer's betrayal, the March 26th $3 million annual burn rate, income drying up across Netflix and Spotify, Netflix equity gone since March 6th, and Paula Froelich's July 13th warning that Harry does not have that kind of money lying around. Lawrence is safe. The deadline is real. The number is hidden. And Harry may be standing closest to the blast. But just when Harry's side looked completely cornered, another contradiction erupted from the winning side. And it may be the only crack left in the wall closing around him. Nicholas Bacon KC revealed in written submissions that Annal's incurred costs of nearly $34.5 million had exceeded Annal's own court-approved budget by more than $18.6 million. In 2024, during pre-trial cost management, the court examined combined proposed spending of more than $38.8 million, and Judge Cook ruled those sums manifestly excessive and therefore disproportionate. The claimants were capped at $4.1 million. Annal was capped at around $4.5 million. Yet now, after winning, Annal says its costs stand at $34.5 million. The side demanding payment also blew past its approved limit by a figure larger than most trials ever see. This is why Bacon KC's phrase mattered when he called Annal's interim demand manifestly excessive. He was throwing the court's own 2024 language back into Annal's face. Annal wanted $9,950,624.37 as an interim payment. The claimants offered just above $7.9 million. But the hidden question is not only whether Annal spent too much. The hidden question is how much of that spending Judge Fancourt will allow Harry and the others to carry. If the court trims Annal's recoverable costs, Harry breathes for a moment. But if indemnity costs are ordered, that breath disappears fast. Because here is the cruel trap inside the figures. The insurance ceiling remains $2 million no matter what arguments are made. Bacon KC himself warned in writing that if the court orders payment on the indemnity basis, the insurance would fall well short, creating a shortfall that could run to many millions of pounds. That warning did not come from Annal. It came from the claimant's own barrister. Even Harry's legal team is telling the court the financial danger is real. The case has moved beyond embarrassment. It has moved into exposure, liability, and a possible money crisis with Harry's name glowing at the center. Now follow the timeline, because every date makes the pressure look deliberate. January 2022, Harry personally emails Baroness Doreen Lawrence, and she joins because of his outreach. October 6, 2022, the lawsuit is filed against Annal by 7 claimants. 2024, Judge Cook calls the proposed budgets manifestly excessive and therefore disproportionate, capping the claimants at $4.1 million and Annal at approximately $4.5 million. January 2026, the 11-week trial begins. July 7th, 2026, Judge Fancourt dismisses all 97 allegations in a 436-page ruling, and Harry pledges to protect Baroness Lawrence from liability. July 29th, 2026, Annal demands $9,950,624.37. The claimants countered just above $7.9 million, and the court hears about $16.2 million insurance, $34.5 million Annal costs, the $18.3 million gap, the $18.6 million budget overrun, and the banquet of litigation accusation. July 30th, 2026. Judgment is reserved, appeal arguments are deferred, and August 28th becomes the deadline. That appeal delay is more important than it sounds. Harry cannot leap into the next legal battle and bury the cost question beneath another headline. The money must be finalized first. The court has placed the bill in front of the appeal like a locked gate. Until Judge Fancourt writes the number, chooses the basis, and confirms the global interim payment, Harry remains trapped in suspense. And suspense is poisonous for someone whose public image is questioned, whose finances are dissected, and whose alliances look strangely quiet. That silence is the new scandal. Elizabeth Hurley has said nothing since the verdict. Sadie Frost has stayed quiet. Simon Hughes gave only a measured reaction. Very disappointing for me, and I am sure for all other claimants. David Furnish remains linked financially to Sir Elton John. Elton John reportedly declined to fund the Invictus shortfall and left his name off Harry's post-verdict statement. The reported phrase, "I am not an ATM," hangs over the story like a warning flare. If Elton is distancing himself, if the others remain silent, and if Lawrence is protected, then Harry becomes the public face of the unpaid gap. So the fallout now has three sharp edges. First, Harry's promise held, and Baroness Lawrence is safe. Second, the bill did not shrink, because the $18.3 million minimum shortfall still exists against $16.2 million insurance and $34.5 million claimed costs. Third, the pressure has concentrated. Anne gains leverage. Bacon Casey attacks the budget. Judge Fancourt controls the clock. The remaining claimants wait. And Harry, the recruiter, pledgemaker, and author of the whitewash statement, stands exposed before August 28th. And this is where the story refuses to end. The final number has not been announced. Standard or indemnity has not been decided. The lump sum has not been divided. No public evidence shows the remaining 5 co-claimants have agreed to cover a defined share of what Lawrence's protection left behind. Harry promised to save one person from the bill, but if that money did not vanish, then someone must absorb it. And now, behind palace walls and courtroom papers, the most dangerous question is no longer whether Harry lost the case. It is whether the real cost of losing is only just beginning.